Hey everyone, today I want to share with you what I discovered when I recreated the intro to Pink Floyd's Time. My mind was continually blown throughout this process, and I really came to these discoveries as I recreated every sound and note to the best of my abilities. Before I jump into those elements, let's just talk about Pink Floyd and how really the genius of Pink Floyd I think is kind of hard to pin down in words, but I think I've kind of cracked some of the code with this intro to Time. It's just really been exciting for me to discover this. Now at the very start of the song, of course, all the clocks go off, and actually every clock had been recorded at an antique store. It's almost like this symphonic alarm clock starting your day. It's time to get up, time to go, and all these clocks are going off. Now the ticking clock sound was actually pretty easy to recreate because Waters actually did pluck muted bass strings to create that sound. Now this ticking clock I recreated on the guitar, as we see here. It's literally the metronome of the song. That might seem kind of obvious, but let's think about this. Every tick is a downbeat, every talk is an upbeat. Tick-tock. The BPM, or beats per minute, of this song is 120. There's 60 seconds in a minute. If you times 60 by 2, you get 120. So every 2 tick-tocks equal a second. So you can literally tell time by listening to this song and counting 4 ticks, 2 tick-tocks. Now, there's a heartbeat in this. Now, a lot of us are familiar with the heartbeat at the beginning and end of Dark Side of the Moon. This heartbeat is occurring somewhat a little more disguised, and it's every bar. So it's every 4 beats. So every 4 beats, or every 4 tick-tocks, equal a heartbeat. Now, when we get to the halfway point of the intro, the heartbeat doubles in frequency. It happens every 2 beats, or 2 times a bar. And it's really cool conceptually because it's almost like as life goes on, the heartbeat increases as you move through time, as the stresses of life start to mount up. And we can sort of correlate that with the overall concept of Dark Side of the Moon. All right, now let's get to the musicians. Gilmour and Waters are playing these bass notes, starting on E and then going to F sharp and kind of alternating for a while. That's happening every 4 bars. So you've got the tick-tock every beat, you've got the heartbeat every bar, and you've got the bass notes every 4 bars. So you just times each by 4. And all of a sudden the intro to Time is starting to have this structure and architecture that is really amazing. Now Pink Floyd, a lot of them were architects, right? Roger, Nick, and Richard Wright all met in architecture school. Okay, now we get to Wright's part. Richard Wright's part really gave me a lot of trouble. It's such a beautiful part. It's played on a Rhodes keyboard. I couldn't really get the sound of a Rhodes keyboard on guitar naturally. I started with my electric and that wasn't really working. Then I went to acoustic and there was still something missing. So I've eventually found that the only thing that really sounds like it is harmonics because of the sustaining nature of them and of the upper register of them as well. So I recreated and rearranged the guitar part to have as many harmonics as I could. And this proved to be not only challenging but incredibly fun and exciting. So I'm going to have that tabbed out on the Patreon and you can give that a shot. Now, Richard's kind of dancing over the time. The structure of the time is set in place very elegantly by the clock, the heartbeat, and Gilmour and Waters' bass notes, and he's sort of dancing along, and he's only offering arpeggio notes for a while, which are basically just chord tones. 1, 3, 5 of the E, 1, 3, 5 of the F sharp minor. It's almost like he's just decorating the structure, the upper frequency with these notes. So Richard Wright, I mean, he really just knew the right notes to play. Okay, now we get to Nick Mason. Now Mason's drum part is truly magnificent. He's playing rototoms. This is the part of my recreation where I just had to accept that it wasn't going to be exactly the way that he played it. I just went with the rhythmic transcription. Nick Mason's toms in this are just incredible. And he's also sort of dancing in between the time structure of the other parts. And he's doing a call and response with Wright. So Wright's playing some notes, Nick Mason's playing some toms, and they're both basically the more creative elements to this intro where both of them are sort of dancing in between the time structure. So the balance in this intro is really remarkable. It's classic Floyd, really well done, really well thought out, incredibly conceptually consistent and accurate. So let's listen to this intro now and try to keep in mind all the elements I mentioned. The ticking clock creating every beat, the heartbeat every 4 beats or every bar, the bass note every 4 bars or every phrase, Nick and Richard's parts sort of weaving in between. By understanding these elements, you can improve your own sense of time, your own sense of rhythm. You can try these parts out as well. Of course, there'll be the song to come in a future Pink Floyd Friday, but I really wanted to zone in this intro. Remember to check out the Patreon, where I'll have a tab of this, and hope you're doing well. Enjoy.